In the last video, I mentioned that our next target was going to be the R3 line here at 28,600. Today we hit our third target. The first target was at 22,000, second target was at 24,000, and now we've met our third target at 28,600. Are we going to meet our fourth target by the end of this month? That is exactly at $33,000. In this video, I'll show you whether that is going to be possible in the next couple of days. I'll also be looking at why this positive funding rate that we've had for such a long time is predicting that we're going to have a fall very, very shortly. I'll also be talking about the breakage of the pink channel by Ethereum here, which is a corresponding channel that we broke and we went parabolic there. Are we going to do the same here? I'll give you the heads up on that in this video. I'll also show you the head and shoulders pattern that we're developing on the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart. Will this mean that Ethereum is about to outperform Bitcoin? So more details later on in this video. If you think that's interesting, then without further ado, let's get cracking. But before we do that, the usual disclaimer. Please remember, everything in this video is for educational purposes only, and nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. So with that out of the way, without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, so let's start off with the Bitcoin chart on the daily time frame. And in the last 4 or 5 videos, I've been giving you these targets. The first target was on the R1 line at 22,000, and we met that. And after that, I said that the second target should be met at the 24,000 level. And that's exactly what happened just a few days later. And then in the last video, I mentioned that the next target Bitcoin should go to is 28,600. And that's exactly where it's been in the last few hours. So the question now is, can we meet our R4 line, which is currently lying at about $33,000. It's around the $33,000. We've only got today and tomorrow to do that before we get the January pivots over here. So let's wait and see. But it looks to me as though there's going to be a run up towards the 33,000. But will it stop at 33,000 or will it go only up to 30,000? So that is the $100 million question. Let's have a quick look at that and see what the possibilities are. My view is that I don't think that we're going to run up to the 33,000 level, simply because if we zoom out and look at the bigger picture, if we draw our Fibonacci retracement from our all-time high at 19,800 to the bottom of the bear market at 3,100, you take it across, and as you can see, if I just move this a bit lower, there, we are currently over here at about 28,420, well, it's fallen down a little bit to 27,800, but we're going to make another run up here by the looks of it. That's what the market's telling me. And the Fibonacci retracement at the normal level that Bitcoin always finds affinity to is the 61.8, and that is at 30,000. I mentioned that this in the last video, that that's going to be the top off point here. So there's a very high probability that it will go to the 30,000 before we have the expected fall. The question is, when the expected fall comes around the 30,000 level, what level will we fall back down to? Now, please remember, there are no certainties with Bitcoin. These are just very strong levels that we can find with the Fibonacci retracement from the all-time high to the all-time recent low at 3,100. And that's telling us that we're going to top off around here, just like we did in June 2019. If you look at the Fibonacci retracement from here to the same point, it went to the 61.8 level here at 13,800. So now on a bigger picture, we're 1.5 years on, are we going to do exactly the same at the 61.8 level, extended Fibonacci retracement at 30,000? Can it go further than that? Of course it can. Like we've said, with the R4 pivots, we can go up to 33,000 either today or tomorrow. So we could have a quick run up to 33,000 before dumping. But there looks like a very high probability that at least around the 30,000 to the 33,000 level, that's where we're going to have the retracement. Only time will tell, but that to me looks like the highest probability that that's going to be what's going to happen in the next few days. So the question now is, at what levels can we expect this fall to be, especially considering that there's a huge amount of institutional buying going on. So with every little dip, the institutions have been buying up. So the question is, have the institutions dried up with their buying to allow this fall to happen? Let's have a look at the various levels we can expect Bitcoin to fall down to. Before we have a look at the levels, I wanted to give you a reason why I'm expecting a big fall very shortly. If we look at the BitMEX funding and premium index, it's an indicator that I've shown you many times. And whenever we have a positive BitMEX funding index, i.e. above the zero line here, we tend to get a fall. So if you look in history, it's a very good judge of exactly what could happen. So we had a positive BitMEX index here, and we had a fall coming down. We had another one here, and as you can see, we had a fall coming down. Another one here, fall coming down. So etc, etc. So if you check out all these positive BitMEX funding and premium index, whenever we hit the positive territory, it tends to be a very strong signal that we're about to have a fall. So what are the levels to look out for? Okay, so the first level I want you to notice and keep an eye on is that on the daily chart is the daily 20 exponential moving average. As you can see from this chart, ever since we started this rally back in October, what we've had is the price coming back to test the daily exponential moving average on the daily chart. There, there, there. So I'm expecting at least the minimum for it to bounce all the way down here. So that could be around about the 23,000 level here, as you can see there. So we're expecting a bounce down to the 23,000 level as the bare minimum in the next few days. The second level is on the weekly chart, and that is the 20 exponential moving average. So this week, this has now gone up to 17,280. So that's 17,280 level. So when the market does come down eventually, this might move up a little bit more. By next week, it'll be about 18,000. So I'm expecting a correction about to the 18,000 level if we come back to the 21 weekly exponential moving average. And as I've shown you many times, during a bull market, Bitcoin has a real affinity to coming back to this level as a bounce to go to the next level higher. The third and final levels to look out for is found on the Bitcoin CME futures gap chart. And just last week, we left a massive gap here from 23,700 all the way up to about 26,000. So that is nearly a $3,000 gap. It's probably the biggest gap that we've ever created. But with the market being so bullish, it was inevitable that one of the weekends we would leave such a big gap. So the question is, will we come back to this level? So we're currently here at 28,200 on the CME futures gap. So it seems inevitable to me anyway that we're going to come back and fill this gap very shortly. So my prediction is that we're going to have a quick dump down to the 23,000 level, perhaps have a little bounce, and then we're going to go further down to the next levels. And again, this ties in with the weekly exponential moving average at 18,000. So that's the second gap. And what we know with these gaps is that they generally get filled very quickly, and these haven't been filled quickly yet. So the chances are we're going to have to come back to these levels. We don't have to, of course, but it's just historically that's what we've done. And the third gap is at the 16,900 level, which we left around November, end of November this year. Now, people always tell me that there are also other gaps. Yes, there are. We left these gaps earlier on in the bull market, and they were at 11,100, 11,400, and one here at 9,600. I don't know what your feeling is, but my feeling is certainly that I don't think these three gaps are going to get filled. They're just too far away now. The bull market is just so strong with the institutions buying and a lot of FOMO now coming in at these levels that I don't really see the price falling much below the 16,900 level. We could still go down to the 15,000 level. That would be really healthy, but that's going to be much less probable than these gaps to be filled up here. So the three levels I'm looking at is the 23,000 at the daily moving average, the 21 weekly moving average at 18,000, and then these gaps to be filled all the way down to 16,900. So those are the three levels that I want you to be keeping an eye on in the next 7 to 10 days. If you want to support the channel, then please click on any of my videos, and then below the videos you'll find a box called Show More, which gives you a description box, and in that description box is the affiliate link with Etoro that I have. So I partner up with Etoro because that's the main exchange I use for all my investments. These are the reasons why I tend to use Etoro. It's a very simple exchange to use in terms of depositing money and withdrawing the money, as well as trading if that's what you want to do, as well as for long-term investing, which is what I tend to do. So if you want to support the channel, please click on the partnership link, and then what you'll do is you'll get this box here, and then you can basically put your username, email and password and just fill in the form there. If you like any of my videos and you find value in them, then please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Finally, on this Bitcoin analysis, I want to show you something I showed you many months ago on this chart, and that is the stock to flow ratio chart. Now, these pink lines are the halvings that we had. So the last halving was on the 4th of May, and I showed you this chart before the 4th of May, before the halving, and said this is the most likely scenario based on what the previous charts had done. So this was the first halving. As you can see, as soon as the halving occurred here in November 2012, look at the price. It ran up to the stock to flow ratio line, which is the yellow line there. And very, very quickly, it was like a magnet. It pushed it right to where the top of that line was here. So it only took between November 2012 and March 2013, so about 3 or 4 months before hitting the top of this line here, the stock to flow ratio line. On the next halving, that was in July 2016, as soon as the halving occurred, look at the price. And again, at the top of this halving line, it took from July 2016 here to around about August 2017. So within 12 months, we reached the top of that price. Currently, look what's happening here. This was a halving in May this year. And I mentioned at the time that we can expect a run up to this price here. We didn't know when it was going to be, but it wasn't going to be too long. And look where we're running to. We're running to this level here at the top, just like before. And that top is at around about the 60,000 level. So our next target in the next few months is going to be to meet this target of 60,000 very, very shortly, on our way to the larger target of $300,000 around between August to end of next year. So that's where we're at on the longer term plan with Bitcoin. The bigger picture is that we're on our way. Yes, we'll have a correction in between, maybe have another correction in between the 30,000 and the 60,000. But this is where we're heading for. So we must hold on tight and not let our emotions get the better of us and sell out between now and the 300,000 target. So the next immediate target in the next few months is actually 60,000 based on the stock to flow ratio chart. On to Ethereum, and in the last few videos I've been showing you for the last few months, I've been showing you this pink channel for Ethereum, and as I've shown you before, once we get past this channel here, we tend to have a parabolic rise to the summit. So we're on our way on a parabolic rise. Currently, if we have a look, we're just seeing the beginnings of the Ethereum price breaking the top channel. So let's have a quick look at this on a shorter term time frame. So this is the pink channel. We've just broken out from there, and as you can see, it's made a classic move of actually going above the channel, coming back, retesting this old resistance, turning it into support, and we're now on our way. So for me, Ethereum is now on its way towards the next few targets. And where would the targets be? Just like we've done with Bitcoin, to look at the next price where Ethereum will be having a retracement. If we look at the Fibonacci retracement on the weekly chart here, from this very top in January 2018, where it reached 1430, around there, and the bottom of the channel, which is over here at the bottom of the bear market, and we draw the Fibonacci retracement, you can see quite clearly here at the 61.8 level, which again Ethereum has an affinity to this level. This is telling us that the price for Ethereum is more than likely going to run up in the next few days to the 913 level, to the 950 level. So that's the golden pocket between 913 to 950, just over here. This is where we're more than likely going to have a retracement to possibly to the bottom of this pink channel here, which is currently at around about the 600 level when it comes back down. Only time will tell. There is a high degree of possibility. Obviously it can go further than that, and obviously it can retrace before this level, but because the fibs are telling us that this is the level it normally would retrace from, so the higher probability is that we're going to retrace from the 913 to 950 levels back down before the continuation of the bull market into the parabolic phase down up here, and culminating in the topping off on our target at around about the 21,000 level. If we move on to the Ethereum versus the Bitcoin chart on the weekly time frame, we can see quite clearly that we're having a inverse head and shoulders pattern developing. We're at the bottom of the right hand side of the shoulder. So the question is, in the last video I said that we were bouncing off this level here, which we duly did. So that price I think at that time was about 0.022 or 0.023. We've now come up to 0.2594 currently, or 26, sorry, yeah. And so the next move, for me anyway, is that Ethereum is going to outperform Bitcoin in the next few months. So we may have a little retracement for Ethereum while Bitcoin runs up to the 30,000 level. But after that, I'm expecting Ethereum to motor ahead against Bitcoin. This can also be seen as a W pattern, the double bottom pattern that we talk about. So this is the left-hand side, and then we're just forming the right-hand side. So that's the left-hand side, this is the right-hand side. So again, the W pattern, the double bottom pattern, more than likely is going to break, and that gives us a target actually that we can easily measure. The way to measure that would be if we take this line here from the top to the left-hand side of the W, which is this bit here, and where we break out around here, that gives us a target of 0.0715, which is my target for the end of the bull market. So more than likely we're going to be running up here in the next 6 to 12 months, and this is our target that's going to be met over here. Only time will tell. All we can do is just look at the charts and ascertain from them what they're telling us. and then make up our own mind of where to go. Certainly, I'm in it for the long term with Ethereum. I'm holding on all the way through to the end of the targets that I've got for next year. But certainly, I think Ethereum is going to be the one that's going to run up very favorably against Bitcoin in the next 6 months. But I do expect Bitcoin to outperform Ethereum in the final phases of the bull market before the top off, anywhere between August and December next year. Okay, so we'll wrap it up there. Just to recap, I'm expecting Bitcoin to run up to the 30,000 level before we top off. So the top off price for me is between 30,000 and 33,000, where the R4 on the pivots line is. So anywhere between 30,000 to 33,000 is our tipping point for Bitcoin in the next few days. And the levels I've shown you before is the daily moving average, the weekly exponential moving average, as well as the CME future gaps. So the daily moving average is at 23,000 level, and the weekly moving average is at 18,000 level, and then we've got the gaps all the way down to 16,900. So keep an eye out on those levels in the next few days and weeks. And also on the Ethereum side, the charts are looking very bullish, and I think the Ethereum is going to be running up anywhere between 800 to 900 levels before it tops off. And the Fibonacci retracement, as I showed you, tells us that Ethereum will more than likely run up to around about the 913 to 950 level before topping off. So keep an eye on those levels for Ethereum as well. If you found value in this video, then please do remember to like and subscribe and to turn on the notification bell. Leave your comments, questions and suggestions in the comments below. If you want to ask any questions, or if you want to share any thoughts that you might have with Bitcoin and Ethereum. Until the next time, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.